just a quick video to say that since Jason Arday's death has been announced, it's been brought to my attention by the local MP for the area that his family live in, that the media have been camping outside their home, publishing the street address that they live at, which is obviously going to put them at risk of racist attacks, right? So Belle Ribera Addy is the local MP for that area, and it's crazy that the family, like we couldn't protect Jason from the media, but surely we should be able to protect the family. And have you lot not done enough? You've driven a man to death. You've caused a man to die, and here you are now hounding his family for comments. I feel like we need to say something, that any media outlet that's currently outside that family's home, you need to be arrested.
Jason Arday is dead at 41 years old. And before the British tabloid press moves on to their next victim, we need to talk about what they did to this man. Jason Arday was a black British sociologist who became the youngest black person ever appointed to a professorship at Cambridge. His rise should have been extraordinary. Then came the allegations of plagiarism and questions about parts of his biography. And the British press ruthlessly and viciously went after him. And so did their readers. They didn't stop with academic allegations. They started pulling apart his entire life, his career, his accomplishments, his fundraising, his athletic achievements, his personal history, story after story, headline after headline. Meanwhile, Jason was already dealing with racist abuse and threats. People close to him said the relentless negative coverage was causing him profound distress. His friend and colleague, Professor Sir Simon Baron-Cohen, spoke with him shortly before his death and described just how badly he was struggling with what was happening. Then Jason Arday was found dead. He was 41. His family said that the prolonged abuse, harassment, and misinformation took a devastating toll on him. Lord Simon Woolley called what happened to Jason a toxic, vicious witch hunt. And he has called for an investigation into the media's conduct. And here's where the British press needs to take accountability, because Jason Arday wasn't the only Cambridge academic caught up in plagiarism allegations. William O'Reilly, a white Cambridge associate professor, had a plagiarism complaint against him actually upheld by the university. More than 12 pages of published articles were reportedly taken almost word for word from essays written by one of his own undergraduate students. Cambridge determined his conduct negligence rather than deliberate. He kept his job. The British press? Crickets. Additional allegations involving other publications later surfaced. Now compare the coverage. Did you see the British tabloid press digging through every corner of William O'Reilly's life? Did you see his accomplishments turned into national headlines? Did you see relentless public humiliation? Because not a single person saw anything resembling nearly what happened to Jason Arday. Let's call out the difference. Jason Arday was black. William O'Reilly is white. Britain has a long overdue conversation to have about the way their tabloid culture treats people, particularly black people and other people of color who become targets. We've watched the British press do this before. Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, immediately comes to mind. We have watched years of relentless coverage directed at Meghan while she was publicly discussed, reaching a point where she didn't want to be alive anymore. Caroline Flack, who sadly took her life, was another victim of British tabloid bullying. Human beings have limits. The British tabloids are to blame for Jason's death, and their consumers are complicit. Do you think Jason Arday would have been subjected to the same relentless media pylon if he had been a white Cambridge professor? And that's the read. If you like your tea hot, share it, save your seat, and follow for more. This is the Notorious JTB, notoriously opinionated, signing out.
He held Diane's hands. And he said, I love you. But he said, they're hounding me to death. Yeah. And I cannot see a way out.
You know, watching so many people gather to pay their respects to Jason Arday is very touching. Having the physical representation of people really in person, showing by the count of their bodies that he meant not only something to all of us, but that we absolutely stand against the manner in which he was witch hunted, he was torn down, he was made to feel less. I think that is important. However, let me not lie. I think this is a time of reflection for all of us. Cause, you have to ask, where were we all these last 2 weeks? Where were we all last 3 weeks? Now, some of us were not aware of what was happening until we were hit with a tsunami of, think pieces and TV interviews, all about one man that many people had not heard of. And people started to question, I'm sorry, what exactly did he do wrong? But that question didn't come up until it was too late. What exactly did he do wrong? And the fact that people were more focused on lynching him, on disassociating themselves from him, because he was not the perfect victim. And I say this from personal experience. There's a time for holding people accountable. And there's a time to save people from public lynchings that they do not deserve. Nothing he did deserve that. Absolutely nothing he did deserve that. I just felt like people were more focused on making an example of him. And I have to ask, where were we all? Did we not see that writing on the wall? And when we did, what did we do? What did we do? I just think that this has to be a time of reflection. I just think that for many of us, especially in the Black community, and for those who say that we are actively anti-racist, I really call on us to be louder than racist. When things like this happen, which they will, we need to be able to say that we, as Black people, we have the right to make mistakes. We have the right to be deeply flawed. We have the right, quite frankly, to be human. We didn't give Jason that grace. I'm just saying that collectively, as a society, collectively, as people who have a common cause to fight racism, we didn't speak up. We weren't asking the questions. When they came out saying he did this, we should have been louder and we should have said, so what if he did? And how does that justify this tsunami of hate? So what if he did? So what? We should have been louder. Instead, we were playing the game of white supremacy. We were feeding into their own rules, trying to play by the rules that they break all of the time. Have you not seen how, ferociously they defend their own? And ferociously, they do not care when their own break the rules, when they lie, when they steal, when they're corrupt, when they commit crimes. Why the hell did we allow them to hang him out to dry? No, it pains me. It pains me. Let me make it clear. There will be other Jason Ardays. Hell, there are Jason Ardays now. There are Jason Ardays now. And I say that from personal experience. There are people like me who are embroiled in public backlashes, public lynchings, all the freaking time. And I don't necessarily get, I don't necessarily get public support that's commensurate to the public smear and hate. Learned a long time ago not to rely on people, which is why it always touches me when I receive any act of kindness. I'm always very grateful to God who holds me strong always. I'm just saying, look, people, we need to do better. We need to be better.
Wow, where do we start with the Jason Arday absolute debacle of a situation? I'm not going to go into what everyone else has already said, and I'm going to keep it really short. If this was a white professor, you would not have heard about this. It would not have made national news, national conversation, national outrage. He won't be the first that plagiarized, won't be the last, don't even know if he did, won't be the first to have exaggerated, lied. I don't know about the marathon runs. I don't know about any of that. I'm not saying it's right. But what I saw was the fact he's a black man was what really pissed people off, that he was a black man. And that's why you're all outraged, and you're not going to be able to convince me otherwise. And what I mean by that is the level of outrage. I'm not saying that you haven't been mad a white man's being caught plagiarizing or lying or exaggerating. and put in that position. Well, actually, you haven't been. And that's just it. If it was a white man, it would not have made the level of reaction it did. Convince me otherwise. And why did Jason Arday piss people off to this level? Remember that word, this level. A feverish national conversation over plagiarism won't be the first, won't be the last. I'm not even saying I like this man or would like this man. I don't know. He sounds like an exaggerator that I probably wouldn't get on with or like. But the things I've seen written about him and said about him, and they're linking it all to the DI, and this is and tainting an entire community, that they're not worthy, and this is just an example of that, says a lot more about them than anything Jason Arday's done. So remember that I'm talking about the level of outrage to this. He didn't kill anyone. He didn't do any harm to anyone. I want to know why you're so upset.
Squaddies. Now this right here, this is where they cross the line into total rock bottom behaviour. A man passes away. Gone. Rest in peace. You'd think even the most shameless tabloid vulture would have the common sense to back up, put the cameras down, and show a crumb of respect. But nope. These people do not have a reset button for basic humanity. Instead of letting a family mourn in peace, what do? They plant their lawn chairs outside the gate like it's a concert ticket line, sticking microphones in front of grieving people, begging for a quick comment. Are you serious right now? The family is trying to process a tragic loss, and you're out here treating their worst nightmare like a primetime soap opera. They hounded the man while he was alive, and the minute he passes, they immediately start harassing his family. It is sick. It shows you that to these media companies, a human life is just content. Grief is just a thumbnail. A family's heartbreak is just another way to get extra clicks before the weekend. For regular folks sitting at home, it's infuriating. It shows you there is no bottom with these outlets. Zero boundaries, zero conscience, zero soul. If losing a loved one doesn't make you pull back and leave people alone, you aren't doing journalism anymore. You're just acting like a straight-up predator. It's gross, it's shameless, and honestly, these reporters need to pack up their gear, go home, and look in the mirror. Have some respect and let the family grieve. Let's stop dancing around it and call it what it is. It's straight-up racism. Why beat around the bush? The way they came for Jason and the way they come for Meghan every single day springs from the exact same dirty root. The minute a black person steps into these high-profile spaces, succeeds and refuses to bow down, the tabloids lose their minds. They can't handle it. So what do? They pick. Every outfit, every sentence, every breath becomes a headline. They construct this fake image to make the public hate them. It's not accidental, and it's definitely not critical reporting. It's targeted harassment fueled by bias, plain and simple. And let's talk about abolish the UK press. Look, the whole setup is rotten. When an entire industry makes millions off tearing down black people and dragging grieving families through the mud, you don't just give them a slap on the wrist, you burn the playbook and throw the whole system in the trash. For regular people watching this, it's exhausting, but it's also crystal clear. We see right through the games. They think they can hide behind free speech while running hate campaigns, but everybody knows the truth. They aren't holding power accountable. They're just bullying people for the color of their skin. It's tired, it's trash, and honestly, we're done pretending it's anything else. Shut down the circus, clear out the trolls, and throw the whole tabloid system right where it belongs. Squaddies, let's be completely real about how this tabloid game works. You don't need a fancy degree to figure it out. You just need a brain and two eyes. First, these outlets invent a problem out of thin air. Meghan wears a black outfit? Oh, she's being disrespectful. She wears white? Oh, she's trying too hard. She posts a photo of a jam jar on Instagram. Suddenly, it's a national crisis, and they've got 5 experts on TV analysing her font choice like it's a secret code. Then comes the dirty trick. They unleash these ridiculous headlines, stir up all the internet trolls into a total frenzy, and then turn right back around and say, look at all this public outrage. We must cover this story. Excuse me? You built the outrage. You literally manufactured the whole thing in your morning editorial meeting. It's like setting someone's lawn on fire, calling the fire department, and then writing an exclusive report on why their grass was flammable. And what does this mean for regular people sitting at home? It means they think we're stupid. They treat us like mindless zombies who just want to hate watch a woman existing in peace. But here's the human insight. When you see them doing this to Meghan every single day, it tells you everything about them and nothing about her. It's not journalism. It's just cheap, desperate drama for extra clicks. Meghan is out here living her life, minding her business and making her moves. Meanwhile, the tabloids are sweating through their shirts trying to turn her morning tea into a front-page scandal. It's embarrassing, honestly. Put the magnifying glass down, step outside, and get a real job. Let's talk about basic manners for a second, because clearly these tabloid reporters completely missed that lesson in school. When a regular person is pregnant, having a rough day, or just trying to eat lunch, people leave them alone. It's called basic human decency. But with Meghan, all boundaries go right out the window. They had camera crews camping on her sidewalk like it was a line for the new iPhone, pestering her friends, calling up distant relatives, digging through garbage. Like seriously, get a hobby. She was literally growing a whole human being, and these folks were out here acting like private investigators on a mission to ruin her afternoon. And here's the kicker. They actually think that because she's famous, they own her. They think being a public figure means giving up your right to lock your front door. Imagine if someone did that to you. You're chilling in your living room in your sweatpants, and there's a guy with a zoom lens sticking his nose through your window, asking why you didn't smile at the mailman. You'd call the cops. You'd tell them to get off your lawn real quick. For regular people watching this, it's wild. It shows you how toxic these media outlets really are. They treat a pregnant woman living her life like public property just to sell papers. It's not news. It's pure creep behavior, plain and simple. Leave the woman alone and go get a real life.
Squaddies, let's stop playing coy and talk about the real game plan here. Because this isn't just random noise, it's a whole blueprint. What's the actual goal of coming at someone day in, day out? Simple. They want to drive her out. They want to bully a powerful, successful black woman so hard that she packs up her bags, shuts her mouth, and disappears into the background. Think about it. When Meghan finally sat down and said, "Hey, this mess is messing with my mental health," what did the tabloids do? Did they take a step back? Did they reflect? Heck no. They laughed in her face. They turned around, called her dramatic, and dialed the hate up to 11. It is wild. It's like kicking someone down the stairs, watching them bruise, and then yelling, "Stop being so sensitive." And for the rest of us watching at home, that hits real close to home. Because we've all seen that one bitter person at work or in the neighborhood who can't stand to see somebody shine. They try to make the room so loud, so toxic, and so hostile that you just give up and leave. That's the playbook. They don't want people thriving. They want you exhausted. They want you fighting just to catch your breath instead of building your empire. But guess what? It's not working. Meghan is still standing, still making her moves, and still living her life out loud while these trolls are losing their minds in the comment section. You hate to see them fail at their own game, but honestly, it is hilarious to watch. Keep shining, honey. Look, did everybody just catch collective amnesia or what? We all sat there in 1997. We saw what happened to Princess Diana. The entire world wept, held hands and said, never again. The paparazzi went too far. The press needs to change. Fast forward to today, and what changed? Absolutely nothing. They took 2 steps back, looked at the tragedy and said, hey, that was a great business model. Let's do it again. How much is actually enough for these people? Do they need a giant warning sign printed on the sky? They are out here chasing motorcycles, hiding in bushes and stalking people's front doors like it's an Olympic sport. When Diana was being chased through streets, they claimed it was public interest. Now, decades later, they're pulling the exact same dirty tricks on Meghan and anyone else who dares to stand out. It's like watching a bad movie sequel where the villains never learn their lesson, they just get worse cameras. And for regular folks sitting at home on the couch, it makes you want to throw your remote at the TV. We're sitting here looking at these headlines thinking, you guys swore you'd do better, you promised you changed. It shows you that until you hit these tabloids right in their wallets, they will never stop. They don't care about history, they don't care about tragedy, they just care about the next payout.
It's completely wild, it's exhausted, and honestly, it's high time we turn the page on these vultures for good. Put the cameras down, pick up some self-respect, and stop the madness already. That is a wrap for today, squaddies. If you made it this far, hit that like button, smash subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep the conversation going. I'm your host, Miles, minding my business, keeping it real, and staying out of the tabloid circus. Catch you on the next one. Bye.